Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so to start out this bonus general message, all I'm going to mention is it's been crazy because honestly, my dog and I both have way more energy. Even though life had been so stressful and so busy, it's like I don't know what is going on with Doggy and I. Maybe it's a change of like it's getting warmer and climate is, like the summertime and springtime is really here. We just both I notice are like really like full of energy and it's wonderful because by all means we should be we should be tired with all we've been doing, but instead I can't help but notice in me I'm more energized and so is Pup. So kind of a where is that energy burst coming from? What's propelling that? So that's the energy that we're going to start with on this reading. We have a 3 of cups and we have a 2 of staves. Well, um if somebody is energized right now, it may very well be because they're at this place in time where they're imagining some really celebratory, happy, maybe coming together kind of energy, and they're at this precipice. They're standing here. I wasn't referring to any nervous energy. I was talking about like good energy flow on my part to start this uh, reading, but I'm almost wondering if we don't have a character who's actually got nervous energy here, because when we stand at a crossroads like this, there is something about waiting for the right time. You notice how she's actually sitting here kind of on a chaise lounge, and instead of it being like a crossroads of should I go right or left, she's actually waiting for that ship to line up right in between those pillars so it'll be directly in her line of vision. I almost feel like this is a storyline of anticipation of coming together, having an opportunity to reconnect with someone or to celebrate with someone. There is, if there's a high energy flow around this, it's funny because this looks like a very placid, this is like the River Nile, right? But it looks like it's very smooth. There's no rapids here, so everything is just kind of like it's smoothly coming along. But if someone is like excited and they're wanting for things to move a little faster, like is there a date in mind? Is there an opportunity coming up where it's like, okay, there's this window, and that's really what this looks like, is a window of opportunity it's arriving and somebody knows this. We have 7 of staves and we have the moon. Someone else does not know anything about this. One person is imagining this. One person is waiting for the window of opportunity. Maybe this is like someone's going to be passing right through someone's town and they're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to stop and I'm going to see them. I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure that I don't miss this window of opportunity. So there's this like high energy around it. But what's crazy is there's high energy for the other person too, but for a totally different reason. The 7 of staves is how we overcome obstacles, how we overcome problems. We have someone who's walked all the way into the temple. They're being drawn in by this high-powered like energy crystal here that's showing this huge, rainbow of like prism of colors. This is a super positive card, and that 7 is a divine number. It's a number of change. I feel like our second character here, the one who has no clue that character number 1 seems to be very interested in reuniting with them. And I don't know yet whether that's a masculine or a feminine. It could be either or. But our first character, which we won't name them yet, but we'll try to figure out whether, at least if it's a masculine or a feminine, so I can refer to them a little easier. But our first character, they're the ones who are waiting for the window of opportunity, and they're not 100% sure it's going to work, but or what they should do, but they want to do this. Our other character seems to be completely like consumed with other things in their life. They are overcoming struggles. They are like seeing all kinds of positives that have come out of the hurdles that they have faced. Their life has been very, very busy, full of change. And it's so crazy because they don't see this coming. As big as this moon is, as much as this should be illuminating everything, this person has no clue that this is what is on the horizon. That's, again, do you see? We've got a river here. It's a little bit like they don't know what the river of life is still bringing them because they've been preoccupied turning obstacles into lessons, into valuable things that then they can see the positive in it, and they're just rolling with the punches, and they're making one success after another out of their life. This is we've got one very active person here who's just focused on turning the hurdles of their life into like total golden moments of like successes, even where there were not successful situations. Tell me a little bit more about that particular character, because I'm impressed that this person is making good stuff happen. Wow, we got a Queen of Cups in the upright, Five of Swords, and then the Three of Sacred Circles. We have a solo individual who is extremely loving, who may have had the wind knocked out of their sails. Okay, so good. We can at least talk about our second character and now give this second character a persona. So we're going to call her the Queen now. This Queen of Cups is someone who, no matter what struggles they've been through in life, they keep bouncing back because they keep finding a positive. They keep finding a way to find love, at least for themselves. She's holding that cup and she's a little bit hesitant, like, I'm not sure I want to give this to anybody because I just barely got my feet under me. I just am starting to like live my life the way I need to. Yes, I have a little bit of defensive attitude because I don't know that I have capacity to be cooperating with others right now, or anyone. I feel like she's kind of just got her feet under her. She's a very loving person. She's a very, sweet person. Do you notice how we have 3 crowns on the wall in this painting above her? It's almost like, did she have 3 just kind of tarnished relationships? Is that what happened to her? And that's why at this point she's like, okay, I'm not angry. I'm okay. I've healed and I'm still a loving person, but man, I kind of think that maybe romance stuff isn't for me, or dealing with other people just isn't for me. The last thing on her mind is any kind of renewal or reconciliation. That's for sure. This queen has absolutely none of that on her mind. She's not even hoping for it. In fact, she looks darn apprehensive here, like, oh God, is somebody coming in who's going to want my cup again? I don't want to give my cup again. So she's been focused on repairing her heart, is what I would say, finding positives out of really difficult things that she went through. And she's very deep. Our queen has a ton of depth to her, but she's had to dig deep probably to heal herself. Okay, let's talk about our first character now. Our first character is the one who they want the reunion and they're waiting for the window of opportunity. Tell me about this first character. Ooh, lovers in the reverse. These are 2 hairy, sexy people. Very hairy, sexy is, I say that because to me, this is like such, I love this card so much. They totally looks like a throwback to like 1970s. It's, I don't know. I love this card. It makes me chuckle because I feel like, it's just whirls of curls and it's just like a sense of like freedom. And the thing is, we definitely have this person who wants this window of opportunity to reconcile where there has been a loss. This person might also be waiting for that window of opportunity for when they are severing ties with some other connection, because this can be a card of choice. We also have the 2 of Swords in the reverse. No more confusion about anything. This and the 6 of Staves. There is something about travel. We've seen it twice. We've seen the ship that is coming down the River Nile. And I have to say that river is pretty prominent here. She has no idea what's coming toward her on this river of life. This person is taking off. This isn't the Chariot. This is the 6 of Wands, but you see a Chariot here. So I combine that energy flow of both of those and say, somebody is really thinking that now they can have success. So our first character is of this mindset that they finally have a window of opportunity to stand before an individual that, and possibly to tell them, I am single now. I am single. I am confidently single. And they feel really good about this, but they also they have a sense of freedom. So is that what the window of opportunity is about? Is maybe it's not so much that they're going to be in the Queen's town or area, but rather they're about to have something in their life get cleaned up, severed, tidied up, let go of, And it may have been, maybe it was another relationship or something that is coming to a close, but this person is totally confident now that they have the ability to move forward. So if there was stagnancy before, lack of success before, our first character now firmly believes that they could have success. So far, the only major we have is Gemini energy, with that Lovers card. So, oh, I think we're going to stick with this for just a little bit. Tell me about the mutual energy between these two, because to me, this doesn't look like there's a whole lot of mutual energy. Tower in the reverse, High Priestess. So much left unsaid. Aries and Cancerian energy. So much unspoken, so much unfinished. Tons of unfinished business. Tons of, like, someone avoided a tower. They avoided things that would have changed the dynamics. They avoided discussing things that maybe should have been discussed. They avoided allowing things to fall apart. They avoided, they kept secrets to hopefully say, well, we never had an ending. This could have been the, I hate these kinds of stories, but it's what we got right now. This could have been the, well, we never said goodbye, so therefore it's not really over. I ghosted. I didn't tell you goodbye, or I avoided doing anything with this connection, even though maybe there was flirtation, there was interest, but then it was never acted upon. And then, we just never spoke again. And this time has passed, but there was always the mystery. There was always the unknown. There was always some. So here's the thing. The High Priestess picks up on the vibes that are out there. She also holds these blueprints that kind of hold almost like a family tree. It's almost like mapping out the interwebbing of one energy to another. And it's like there was a connection here, but I don't think it was acted upon, or certainly it was not acted upon enough to bring this into a fruition. The fact, though, that our queen has so much trepidation in regards to, oh God, is somebody knocking on my door because they want me to give my heart to them again? Like, I just barely, this person right now, this queen, as loving as she is, doesn't want to tangle with anybody right now. She's like, I want to stay single right now because of what I've barely pieced myself back together from. Meanwhile, this character, our first character, the one who wants this reunion, who thinks now they can be successful, there was so much left unspoken. So much energetically, it was experienced, but was left unspoken. And the mutual energy here is with all the unknowns. I think she's sick and tired of secrets. That could be it, because this is heavily leaning toward the feminine energy. So that's why I'm kind of applying this as her vibe in this. I know that there's a ton you didn't tell me. I don't know what it is. I just know that she may even sense this person intentionally never ended things with her for a purpose. She may also sense that this person is thinking about her and is thinking about a chance to come back in. And she's like, of course it would be now that I've got my feet under me. Like I feel like this person is insisting in their mind that, like, they're returning to this topic, and they're returning to the, what I want to say is, it's like the semantics of it, right? Well, we never said goodbye. And it's like, but the only reason there has to be a reconciliation and this window of time for an opportunity is because there was separation in the past. And we already saw on our first character's side, they had to end something. They had to end something here with that Lovers in the reverse. So they had a complicated situation. I don't know how exactly that impacted her, but for her to be so wary, I would say it hurt her. I would say how they behaved must have hurt her. So, but they intentionally didn't end things with her. It's like when somebody ghosts instead of says goodbye, because they have every intention of coming back in, but not until they can do it on their terms. Very well. I won't say what I think of that. Not my place. Not my place. The cards didn't tell the story, and this is not Kate's personal spout off session. So we'll just zip it. We have a Queen of Cups in the upright. Keep doubling down on this Queen of Cups. They know, because this is still talking about the mutual energy between them. They know what an incredibly loving person she is. She knows that they know she's an incredibly loving person. She knows who she is. She knows she's a total giver. She knows she is like the kind of sweetness and tenderness. And bear in mind, although I'm calling her the queen and saying her, this could be a masculine too. This could be a same-sex couple that we're talking about. They could both be men. Gender is irrelevant to me. I only read the stories, but these are fictional stories about fictional characters. So, just be mindful that genders are very changeable in all of these, because it just represents like a particular energy. And all of us have divine masculine and feminine energies within us. And there are absolute, like, most giving, loving, sweetheart men out there that, exhibit these same traits as that Queen of Cups. And they're very masculine, but they also have this deep, tenderness and deep emotional capacity to like really love and nurture as well. So just bear that in mind. I think that, I don't know, there must be a reason why I'm honing in on that so much, because I don't usually touch base and delve that deep into it. So maybe that's a good point to make. The fact that they're the mutual, okay, hold on. If they're not actually popping out, I don't take them. That was a messy shuffle. We have got King of Wands, Wheel of Fortune. So again, mutual energy between them. We have a king and a queen now. All right, so we're obviously, now we can name the other character. We have a King of Wands who is coming out as a phoenix rising from the ashes, which makes perfect sense for what we've seen here, right? This person has been waiting for a window of opportunity to come in after ending some former connection, coming in like, now I can be successful here. They intentionally didn't end things with her because they intended to come back in when the time was right for them. This has nothing to do with what was right for her. But let me take a step back from that statement and say, however, we have to look at it like this. The Wheel of Fortune is divine timing. That's where there are certain things that, yes, we're masters of our own destiny, but there are also things that, let's say somebody was going through a divorce. And I'm going to say it that way because you notice that there are two people here, but they're trapped on this spider web. This could be a messy divorce, and the court system had to legally separate these two. That is something that is beyond the control of the individual because the court system is involved. So there are things that could be an example of the divine timing where it couldn't happen until other things came to pass, especially if there had been bogged down energy. However, I'm also looking at this as there has, like, I want to say that someone's heart was netted or captured all this time anyway. It's like these two were trapped in an energetic attraction that they couldn't escape, even though they also weren't able to come together until the Wheel of Fortune turned in their favor. So the mutual energy here is, and this is emotion and tenderness and love, and this is passion and open-hearted and warmness and love. Both of these are in the upright. We have a king and a queen. We have a matched duo, and we have the right time for them. So we do need to talk about, then why is she feeling so gun shy? High Priestess, because all that stuff I didn't know, and Page of Wands. And both of these came out sideways. There's so much that I don't know about what happened. There's so much. So the way they handled this was to not tell her the full truth, clearly. And this is, like Shahrazad and, telling the tales of the Arabian Nights. And, there's this element of, what stories do you have to tell me now? What half truths will you tell me now? Would I be interested in, would I even want to go down that road with you? Because there is a spark here that she's not willing to kindle with this person again, not when there's so many unknowns. And there's been a lot of unknowns, and in her mind, there's a lot that she knows she didn't know, which is even worse. And then the fact that it's almost like someone was lying by omission, or they lost credibility, perhaps, because they didn't lay it all out. Now, we don't know what the circumstances were. These two could have never really gotten a connection off the ground. Maybe there wasn't really a purpose, or everyone has a right to not reveal every detail of their personal life story, because it's just that, it's personal, right? However, when two people are trying to get to know each other, that's where we kind of start to I don't want to say that we waive those rights, but it is an expectation that to get to know each other, especially on a like a intimate, passionate level, that that's the whole point. We need to get to know who our partner is. So if a partner is refraining from telling truth, it becomes a lie, right? Now it's not just like, if we meet a checker at a grocery store and we're chit-chatting with them, we're not going into in-depth details about our personal life. They're not privy to that. It's not their business. If we have a friend, they also may only get to a certain level of information about what's going on in our life. If we have a best friend, they get to a deeper level. And then if we have a romantic partner, they know the ins and outs of stuff. It's all about levels of how deep do we go? How much do we reveal? It depends on the depth of the connection. And of course, it still is all personal choice. Some people could be in a happy relationship and they still don't dive super deep into every detail of one another's lives. But in this storyline, we have a Queen of Cups who she is deep, just in the way she operates. She has a lot of deep emotion. And there was a lot that was, I'm going to go ahead and say, that was intentionally kept mysterious. And she knew that there was all kinds of mystery here, all kinds of things that were not being revealed. That has now set her on, that's what brings her to this, I feel defensive toward this person. I feel like I don't want to deal with someone who I can't trust to tell me the full truth. The fact that I can emotionally pick up on what they're hiding, this is like an empathic gift that she has that she couldn't turn off, any more than like we can not need oxygen. It's just a piece of her. She can sense it. She can feel it. She knows when there's stuff that's not being openly said, and that throws a big old wrench in things, and it makes her say, I don't want to be around you when I can pick up on the fact that there's a bunch of stuff you're not being honest about, you're not telling me about. So I don't want to be around you at all when I know that there's a ton that I don't know, and I just don't want to pick up on that vibe. So let me just keep my distance from you. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting. So she's very much uncertain at this point. Is there anything that this person has to say that I would even want to hear? Because history has told me that this person, they tell stories and they keep half truths, and they don't say what's really going on. And even if I know they cared about me, whatever their blockages were, I could sense them. I know that they did this thing where they made sure that they never were clear with me, that they didn't end things with me. But I also sense they didn't end something somewhere else, at least in the past. Like, there's a whole lot here that has made her just be like, ugh. And I get it, right? But let's take a look at this other character, because we do see on their side they have ended things. The Lovers, again in the reverse, no joke, and the Devil. Wow. And this is a Brazilian folk tale about this this fire serpent that, when it comes through the forest, also is going to light stuff on fire. Like, everything they touch kind of winds up going up in flames. It feels like whatever that individual was in was super toxic. I have to say, for this storyline, if they were actually keeping their distance from that queen so that she didn't get burned by this mess that they were in, if they were intentionally making sure that they ended things fully so that there's no repercussions, there's no chance of somebody stepping in and wrecking or like making havoc for her, all because it's their ex, and maybe they and their ex had an ugly breakup, and it's like, I don't want my ex to basically impact either our connection or impact you, because this is pretty toxic. And this is, that fire, it singes or does smoke damage even if you're close to it. If this person was trying intentionally to keep distance from her without ending things because they didn't want things to be over, but they also didn't want her anywhere near the fire, not until this thing was over, not until now they can explain this was the fire that I was dealing with, and I don't want to vilify any exes, because you know what? Although, let's say we do have a lot of fire here. This phoenix was burned to the ashes and then had to rise back up. Something went down, something fell apart. We see destructive energy. We see fire. We see lovers. That this is like a love relationship that wound up very bitter, that really turned ugly, and they may have lost a lot in this. But again, I don't want to vilify exes. In fact, let's talk about the ex for just a second here. To be fair, tell me about the other half of that lovers equation: the Empress, the Six of Cups, and the Five of Wands. The reason I wanted to touch on this is because we've had the lovers twice in the reverse. And I think it's not fair because, look, great people can turn very sour for a reason. If they feel dishonored, if they feel done dirty, if they feel, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, that ex is a terrible person. No, right now this ex is an amazing person. This is the Empress. This They could have been married. The wife, the mother, the dutiful, like very giving. I mean, this is in the upright. This was a soulmate. This was something that was amazing. And then something happened where it was all conflict all the time. But that conflict may have been that if this was a soulmate and this individual, their ex, it's like, well, we're happy though. Like we were together. Like I've given everything. I've been a good partner. I thought that we had this amazing romance. And then why all the struggle? We don't know yet why all the struggle, but this could easily be that ex is an amazing person who didn't do anything wrong, but man, they must have gotten hurt. Strength card, Knight of Cups. All the arguments, all the troubles, all of the difficulties. I mean, I gotta say, to me, this is starting to look like this character, our first character that we've been talking about, our King of Wands. They may have been the one who, I don't know, there was something here about somebody. We have transformation happening a couple times in this. Okay, we have the King of Wands. It's a transformation from the Phoenix rising from the ashes. We have the Lover's card on this deck where it's Beauty and the Beast, again, transformation. And then we have the story of Tam Lin, which is like from the Celtic mythology, and she like has to hold on tightly to her lover as they go through these various transformations of very vicious beasts because they had been enchanted by the evil fairies. But it's, thanks to there's also a common theme here about how true love is what makes someone hold on, and it makes them continue to be that powerful partner even through the difficult times, even when somebody is going through like really like bad transformations, but they hold on tightly so that they can help that person through those rough moments in their growth. And so we kind of see that with this storyline. And then with Beauty and the Beast, it's like, because of true love is what makes someone blossom. The only thing is it didn't. Maybe this was a situation where one person was more in love than the other, or maybe it's a situation where someone, let me rephrase something about that ex. They came up as an Empress, but there is something. This is Our Lady of Guadalupe. So it has a strong, like religious background in this deck. And so there's something about, like very much, doing good and very much like being like incredibly giving and being, incredibly like self-sacrificing and tons of forgiveness and stuff. So that is energy that goes along with this particular card. And they thought that this was a soulmate, but soulmate energies don't necessarily represent like, and even wonderful people don't necessarily represent our perfect romantic match. They may represent a wonderful human being that is important to us, that we are in this world to have some kind of a soul contract with. But does it always translate to passionate love? Perhaps not. But the ex is showing up as this incredible human being, very much a soulmate, saw this connection in that way. But if it became really confusing, because it's like, well, we're good together, but where is the spark? Where is the passion? They might have been very patient, but then there may also have been issues with, things changing to the point where, this looks like someone was looking for love someplace else, looking for passion, looking for something that would be, because this Knight of Cups can, in some decks they're depicted by Eros, which is like Cupid. It's falling in love with love. It's the honeymoon phase. It's the excitement of romance. This ex may have watched or experienced their partner looking for some other kind of romantic option. And it might have been like, but I stood by you through all the most difficult times, but you're looking for someone else. But I've been everything. I've been amazing. I've been giving, I've been forgiving, I've been understanding, I've always cooperated, I've given so much. I'm so befuddled as to what are you doing? Why are you doing this? I feel like a lot of emotion right now for this ex. This ex is a wonderful person. And yet this is a tough reading, because this king is rising from the ashes, right? This king is the one who went through the transformation. This king maybe fell in love with a Queen of Cups. If they were already with a partner and they and that partner were good together, but there wasn't love between them. And we don't see love between them. We don't even see love on the part of the Empress. The Empress has a strong liking for them, but you notice how they live much more like roommates than romantic partners. This card is very specific about what it's showing. It's not the kind of soulmate where it's like, oh, you're my soulmate, we're in love, we're a unit. No, we are cooperators. And I am very giving, and I am very, understanding. And we keep seeing that this particular Empress is exactly what an Empress is, like super giving, super loving, power to stand beside somebody in their worst moments. But I also feel like this amazing person is, I don't want to say they're getting shafted, because honestly, this amazing person deserves somebody who loves the heck out of them. This is a catch. But unfortunately, they are a catch who deserves someone else. If this is why the universe is shifting things, changing things, because the Empress deserves somebody better, somebody who really loves and admires them. Meanwhile, the King of Wands has gone through major transformations to be honest with themselves and say, I might have married an amazing person, but my partner and I didn't actually have true love. We never transformed. In fact, we became toxic because I was with a great person, but we weren't in love. We were we were soulmates, but not in love. I'm in love with this Queen of Cups, but I might have discovered love after I was already married to someone who was a terrific person and someone I even care about, and they care about me, but we're not in love. And I feel like this, I don't even want to put this storyline out, because I feel like this is such a, please remember, these are fictional stories, fictional characters. All of this is fiction. I only get to read the story that I see based off of the imagery. But we do see something that is like third party here, and we've seen it all along. And I don't usually read stories like this, but I will say, to look at it from these different aspects for these fictional characters, to me this is piecing together like why a connection is breaking apart, and why it would actually be of benefit, because that Empress deserves an amazing partner. Meanwhile, even this king, they deserve to be happy too, right? Sometimes people make mistakes. Sometimes characters wind up with someone that they like, but they don't love. And if neither one of them recognizes it, they could spend a lifetime together in, like and complacency. But is it enough? In this case, this Phoenix rising from the ashes says, no, I have fallen madly in love with this Queen of Cups. But no wonder this was a difficult situation, because how do you break up with someone who's an amazing person? How do you break up with someone where it's not that I want to cheat on you, it's not that I want to trade up, it's that we never actually had that kind of romance? The Lover's card is in the reverse twice. This couple never actually had that kind of love. So they finally are like clear on that, like that's the component that was missing. But I think they also realized, but the Empress didn't love me either. The Empress is an amazing person who cared about me, but they saw me as their roommate. that I feel like this king has identified things. Now, this may not have been handled very well, and certainly this empress maybe saw that this king was looking for something that wasn't happening between the two of them, right? And that might have been confusing. It might have caused conflict. It might have been like, okay, maybe they're just going through a difficult phase. Maybe I should hold on to them and let them, have their, whatever this difficult thing is that they're going through, only to then realize, no, my person actually wants to go someplace else. I mean, all of this, like this person is on their pony, ready to ride across the ocean, and they've got this hawk with them to scope out the love that they want to have. And I feel like that had to have been very confusing for this empress, because it was like, well, I thought we were good, but were we in love? And the empress here was, I think, accepting way less than what she deserved, but super amazing person, super strong, but deserves more. So I want to talk about, what does that empress get? Because I don't want to leave her out in the cold here. You notice she's still the empress in the upright. So no matter what has happened in this situation, she actually, maybe because these two were more friends than genuine romantic connections. And please, again, you guys, don't take this. This is a story about fictional characters. Do not take this and say, no, I was the empress and, we had a great love. That's not your story. Okay. Because that's not what the story is here. In this story, our empress only liked this person. Soulmate, yes, but not romantic soulmate. They were roommates. They maybe didn't even live necessarily in the same house, maybe on the same property, but it was more like, yeah, that's my partner, but it's more like business arrangement, friendship. It wasn't romance. So very different, very distinctive storyline here. So don't murky the waters with, your personal life story and try to apply it here. Because remember, this is not anyone's personal life story. This is a story. But let's talk, what is that empress ending up with? What does she get out of this next? Because Four of Swords, she actually gets to really relax and heal from this. This Four of Swords, this might have been draining the heck out of her to the point where she didn't even realize it. Look, this is a peaceful little nap under clear blue skies. This is like, oh my God, I don't have to deal with this person's like transformation time and again, where they're having like these crises of they don't know what they want, and I'm supposed to hold on tight because I got to be a great partner to this person who's like my best friend, but I don't know what's going on with them. Well, finally it's like, I think she's sending them off like, I wish you well, go find that great love. I want some peace and quiet from all of your conflict. I almost feel like this is a way better. I was feeling like, oh God, don't let this poor empress get hurt. Four of Cups in the positive light. There's no missed opportunity here. Instead, look at this. What she has up ahead for her. Had this card come out this way, I would have been like, oh God, so she is feeling like I poured all of my energy into this person and I got nothing for it. She's actually like, so glad this person is moving on because I have all of this happiness up ahead for me now. I actually get to have maybe a chance to not have to be a partner to someone that I always felt like I was trying to support them when they were having their moments of difficulties and all of that. It now becomes so clear. This person needed to go someplace else, and I get to have something so much more exciting. She's carrying her cup to pour it into this huge cup. This is all positive. This is all, I didn't miss any opportunity. My opportunity of an incredible life is just up ahead. It's interesting to see 2 4s here also, much more balanced. So our Empress is much more balanced, and our Empress is Queen of Cups. I'm finally going to drink my own. So she's super loving also, but it's time that she gets replenished. You notice how this Queen of Cups, she's finally going to get to pour into her own self. I think this has been a very exhausting relationship for this Empress, because it was like, what is going on here? I don't get... We have the Devil, but it's not the Devil at all. Ooh, and the Emperor in the reverse. Okay, so she did possibly... She doesn't have a great opinion of this person. So remember how I said, was the Emperor thinking that they needed to protect this Queen of Cups from the wrath of the ex? And that's why I went down that road, because I thought that's not really fair. There must be a reason that they would worry that the ex would be so upset. No, it wasn't that. The ex has a poor opinion of this person because she's like, you were never the Emperor. I realized that, look, I didn't hold you. I was never attached to you in a toxic way. It was you that was scared to leave. She has that opinion. They didn't want this Queen of Cups to hear from their ex that the ex says, well, the problem with my ex, and by the way, good riddance. I hope that you two are really happy together, because honestly, I always felt like they were my project. I always felt like I poured a lot into them, because they were always kind of going through transformation and crisis mode and all kinds of stuff. And their issue is that they don't make decisions that are right for them. So they wound up staying with me for all this time, and I cared about them. It's so crazy how this storyline has just totally flipped upside down, right? Our empress, her opinion of them was pretty poor, because if she could talk to the Queen of Cups, that's what she would say is, "Oh, sweetheart, look, you didn't steal my prize." Like they were always needing my help. It was never the reverse. I We weren't madly in love. I mean, I really tried to be a great partner to this person, but the fact that this is over is actually a relief for me, because I get to finally do what I need to do for me. And they weren't my emperor. They never were. They didn't make strong choices. If they got married and they didn't want to be married, they also didn't have the courage to end things. They didn't take the lead in things. Like she would not paint a very great picture of this king, right? The king is the emperor, but through her eyes, it's like they were never an emperor. But that's why I'm not attached. I was never toxic. And she doesn't dislike this person. She's more like compassionate, but she's kind of calling it like she experienced with them. Like, yeah, like I stayed with them because I didn't want to abandon them. So it's so wild, because they were in love with this queen. They had a more like a friendship kind of romance with their empress. The empress was like, I try to be such a great partner to you, but it just ain't working. And then finally, when they part ways, the thing that they don't want the queen to hear is that the queen, or the empress, thinks poorly of them. Not because she's mad at them, but because she was always kind of like able to see that they weren't good together. Now, the only thing is, what she experienced with this person may not be who they really are. Because remember, we are seeing that although they didn't show up as her emperor, even if they were married for 20 years, they together didn't really have it. And everything that empress has just said about the emperor in the reverse could be totally on point. Like they didn't take leadership. They really weren't my emperor. I always felt like I had to be the strong one. This individual has transformed, though. We see them phoenix rising from the ashes. They maybe wanted to be the emperor, but they couldn't possibly be the emperor to someone that they were not intended to be the emperor to. There wasn't that connection. They were soulmates, but they weren't lovers. They might have gotten their signals crossed. Two people that cared about each other were supposed to maybe be really great friends in this lifetime, but instead they ended up getting married. And that's the whole point. Like, I don't hate you, you don't hate me, but all the things I didn't do in our connection, it's because I was supposed to do that part with somebody different. So who they're becoming is very different. Oh my gosh, 43 minutes. Oh my gosh, this storyline is going on and on and on. But it's probably the most complicated storyline I've ever done. I don't even know if I want to put this one out, though. As I say that, and about 1 billion cards come out. Hold on. We're only taking the first one that dropped, not all the others that came out afterwards. 7 of Wands. And this 7 of Wands is in the positive position. So this is talk about that king now. That king is ready to actually not just transform, but to take charge, to overcome their obstacles. Maybe what that empress said about them was true. Like they were always going through transformation. They didn't know what they wanted. They couldn't seem to be happy. They couldn't seem to really commit. They didn't know themselves very well, but they also didn't have the courage to leave a situation if they were unhappy in it. But they might have been feeling guilty, like, but you're a great person. I should be committed, but my heart's just not there. We don't have that romance. It may have been a very confusing relationship because these two people cared about each other, but it wasn't the same kind of love. So they weren't this this emperor certainly wasn't the best version of themselves for her, but they stayed way too long instead of saying, I'm not doing right by you. You're freaking amazing, but we're best friends. We're not lovers. And we both want more than that, but they didn't have the courage to walk away from it. So that is on them because they had to do the transformation. That King of Wands had to transform. They finally are doing it. Ace of Wands, they're really taking control of their life and going after what they're passionate about now. Again, I don't think that this is sad because our Empress is almost like she's had a burden unloaded from her cart. I don't think that an Empress that giving would have like abandoned this person, but our Empress was never the weak link. I mean, and it sounds really rude to say that the Emperor was the weak link, but let me put it this way. The only place that was the weak link was that they weren't being authentic about what am I passionate about? I need to take charge of my own life. And maybe for them not to do so much transforming, so much rebuilding of themselves, maybe it was a confidence thing, or maybe it was, there we go again with the Lovers. They keep on like seeing where they stayed in some barren place. They stayed, honestly, maybe they didn't know how to be a great love. Maybe they didn't know what love was. Maybe they confused like with love, because maybe wherever they came from, whatever life they had lived, they didn't have love given to them. You know, people only know what they've experienced. Maybe that was part of this King of Wands transformation, is that if they didn't have real love, you know, around them, like as a child or in a household or something, then when they grow up and they meet someone who's, you know, hey, we get along, you're kind to me, I'm kind to you, we have mutual respect, that would be easy to confuse that with love until they wind up meeting someone else who they go, oh my God, that's passionate love. That's the person I'm in love with. That's the person I feel like I'm supposed to be with, is that Queen of Cups. But I didn't know the difference until now. So again, what the Empress is saying has merit, but what we're seeing in the storyline, the very complex growth and understanding, is that this king realized that not only now do I see the difference, now not only do I realize what I am still hungry to have in this lifetime, what I've been missing, what I've been bereft of is that incredible love. And you notice how these lovers have actually, in this card, they've been kept apart. They're both reaching for it. She's been offering it. This could be the queen who's been offering it to them, that Queen of Cups. And they have wanted to accept it, but they have been in an atmosphere where they couldn't. How could they? They were with somebody else. They're only just now at that place where it's like, but I can choose what I need to for me because it's imperative for my personal growth. I'm not out here trying to trade up. I'm not out here trying to dishonor an amazing Empress. I'm not out here trying to break hearts or do anybody dirty or do anybody wrong. But they're only just now coming to the conclusion that this lifetime is about learning and growing. This lifetime is about, you know, we do have to be authentic. If we have real, like, intuitive and like powerful desire to say, what I really want is I want to accept a love offer from someone that I feel so drawn to, that I've been kept apart from. I want to experience that love. This masculine is finally saying, I must do this. And that is them finally taking control of their own life. It's just interesting that this whole storyline it's played out in such a way where it's like, I could totally see the complexities of this. And why it's like, yes, there's been toxic stuff, but it's more like when our characters haven't been able to unravel the you know, like, oh, but I feel this way, but I shouldn't, and I feel bad about this, and I made a choice, but this person's great. Like, it would have been easier if we had a villain. We have no villains here. What we have is human beings learning as they progress what they didn't know before. Like, this king didn't know what kind of love they were hungry for. This Empress didn't know before why it was like, oh man, I keep having to give to this partner, not realizing she could have cut them off at any point and said, look, I really care about you, but I feel like you got to find yourself, you know. But instead she kept being their rock and staying beside him, which this transformation, she's so much happier now that this is over. She finally gets to give to her own self. She also, she's not mad about it, but it's just kind of like, hey, I am so glad that I don't have this kind of toxic drama with this character who I cared about. Everybody is actually shifting into a better place, a better, more authentic version. So let's talk about the queen. The queen, 9 of Cups in the upright. The queen is like super fulfilled in her own right. If she decides to allow this person in, it will be an enhancement to her life. It will be we got the Hanged Man, and the Hanged Man is for the queen. She's gonna have to think about this. Do I want to say yes to this? There is a delay here. There is a, I'm not 100% sure because my life is good now. Again, we saw from the gate she had trepidation. Do I want to deal with this? Queen of Swords and 8 of Cups. Ooh, this queen who is very, very loving. She may be she's pausing here and thinking about this because for a little while she might have turned very, very bitter, very bitter, with that Queen of Swords there in the negative, and then that 8 of Cups. Look, there's no gentle way for me to say it. She felt abandoned at a really difficult time, and I almost think that because of that, she's having a really hard time saying that she would want this person back in because they abandoned her. So right now, so far, the only person who's not going through the most positive energy is our queen. And she's the one who's been wanted all this time, but she's also the one who feels like she got the shortest end of the stick, which is not true because every person here has had like really difficult things that they've gone through, right? But the queen is the one who feels like she wasn't told the truth to, and she's the one who got abandoned, possibly during a time of need. There is a bitterness. Now, she also may be saying, I don't want to turn into that person again, but there is still a hurt. There is still a bitterness. Oh my God. But there's also a 10 of Cups here. There is, hold on. We gotta, she may simply be saying, I don't know, because I was so upset with you. 6 of Wands in the negative. She's a little all over the place. Our queen is a little all over the place. Just like we saw, so loving, so kind, so much trepidation. So much like I am blocking this. I don't want to reconnect with somebody who does this to me. I went through hell and back of not knowing what went on, of being abandoned, of like I rebuilt myself. My life's really good. I am so like not willing to sacrifice my happiness again, because when she thinks about this, it's like, but what you did to me, you walked away from me, and it brought up the worst side in me too. But I also the hurt and the abandonment and the anger, like she could be still feeling that a bit, even though she's happy in her own life, thinking about them walking away from her and not ending things with her properly and not having the courage to do right by her or to explain what was really going on with them. That may have placed a piece of bitterness in her that she doesn't like. This is what she is. She believes in happiness. She believes in full love. She believes in complete, love is going to be a certain way. It's going to be fulfilling, and it's going to be honest, and it's going to be like, I offer you my soul and you offer me yours. This doesn't feel good to me. 6 of Wands. This is a hard one for her. 8 of Pentacles. She may say that if this person is really coming in to create brand new from the ground up, you notice how this person is literally making those pentacles right from the mapping it out, drawing the diagram. If this person, still have a 9 of Wands in the negative, I just don't know if she's going to allow this person back in, because she keeps flip-flopping. I thought this was so much happiness. To have that 10 of Cups sandwiched in between, no wonder she's flip-flopping so much. There's so much hurt that she still holds. There's bitterness here. There's the emotional like damage, and she might even be looking at this person and saying, what, are you coming to me now because you don't have someone else? Did your ex kick you out? Or, it might even be something kind of harsh like that. But remember, this person is, we saw them, that king, like, powerful, ready to move forward, sure of themselves. But she's sitting here going, God, I thought you were my everything, but this is what actually happened. And I have to put up boundaries because you're not somebody who comes in and is honest. I feel like it really, they were worried that the ex may say the poor opinion that they have of them, but instead they don't realize they painted the worst opinion ever for her based off of how they treated her. And I'm so sorry, this is sounding like we're just beating on this King of Wands, beating them up. But again, someone's behavior creates other people's opinion of them. Part of this queen really wants to work on things with them, and part of them says, but I'll never forget what you did. I'll never forgive you for what you did. Is that really going to be true? I mean, I don't know. It's like how she feels right now. We have a Four of Pentacles. My eyeball's itching. A Four of Pentacles. It may not be the truth. It may be what she wants to say right now because she's scared, because she's still hurt, because it's like she wants them to prove her wrong, but she is guarding herself by saying, I will not open up to you again. I'll never give you my full trust. But this actually says differently. This is a new dawn. This is a little bird who comes in. This is like, if this person could really work, if this king could really prove that they mean what they say, that they're totally transparent, that they truly have changed, and they could heal the rift that has occurred between the two of them. Because we can understand things from all these different characters' viewpoints, right? The complexities, the difficulties, all of it. Like I truly have compassion for every single character here. But this queen is really still, she's been stewing on the deep disappointment of how she was treated, and she doesn't have trust with this person. She's saying she never will, but this card says that's not true. This card says at some point she would give to this person, only if they really put in the effort. Because she's convinced that it won't be lasting, and she's not about to let this person back in. She says with that Nine of Wands in the negative, it's like, yeah, right. They'll work on things for like a day and then they'll get tired. They never told me the truth before. Now I find out all this about they were with somebody else and they just didn't know how to end things. So they abandoned me during maybe one of the toughest times in human history. They walked away from me without a word. They left me sitting here. And she literally, you see that this is stormy skies. It's cold. She's in tattered clothes. Her castle is empty. This is not this beautiful time that she got abandoned. This was a hard time of her life, and someone walked away from her, and she had to figure out how to get by, not just without any form of friendship or assistance, but going through the grief of being, left. That's a heavy, and the only reason I'm honing in on that is because that card says a lot, and I'm trying to explain why is she so all over the place with how she feels about this, because she got herself back to good, and she did it herself. The idea that this person now gets to come in after this is what they did to her, when it was like, yeah, I thought we were everything. I thought this was real love. But what you did, like, there's no way I could look at you with the same eyes. And, oh, you want to come in, you really want to show me that everything's different now. Yeah, I don't believe any of this. I don't think it'll last. I don't think your effort will last. I think you're a sham artist. That's what I think. That card says a lot to me. But in truth, if this person had the staying power, and remember, this King of Wands has the staying power, but she doesn't believe it yet. I can see why it would take time. Remember, there's a lot that she doesn't know. She's got that Moon card. Tons and tons and tons of things that needed to be revealed. Seven of Swords in the negative. This is no more lies, no more deception. This is everything. She right now could be lying to herself that she would never give this person a second chance, because it seems like she keeps telling herself that. We do have a Six of Pentacles, though, and it's in the negative. Hold on. Let's get one more because I'm still not sure. Three of Swords. No, this is... So she kind of been reinforcing in her mind, I'll never get over this. It'll never go away. But that's not true. And we actually do have a complete recovery from this betrayal, this heartbreak. This is like, oh my God, I never thought that I would forgive this person. I never thought I could trust this person again. Because remember, she already made her own life good. She already found her footing. She's successful. But she promised herself, never again. This person will never touch my life again. Then they come in and she's filled with all those swirling emotions of, I thought we were going to be everything, but then we weren't. And there's no way that I trust you. I'm sure that you're lying. You're not here to actually do anything right because you didn't in the past. I don't believe that you're a transformed person, and I don't believe I'd ever forgive you. But despite all of those protestations, she actually, we keep seeing, she does want to get this again, and this does get healed. This is kind of an amazing story, even though it is an epic saga that is an hour long, and I cannot even believe this. 9 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands. Both of these are in the deficit position, meaning we do have, like, I almost think that she realizes, I don't want to keep fighting something that I actually want if this person is really showing up, because I still feel like she's been single and has been telling herself she doesn't want anybody because she got really hurt. And I think that she's tired of telling herself that, because it does wind up getting healed. Wow, Ace of Cups in the reverse, though. Hold on. I still don't know. 8 of Wands in the upright. She may initially reject this person, even though they're putting in effort, and she may say all of this, like, I'm just so tired of all this. I don't want this. And then I think there's a change of heart here on her part, because this is jumping over that fence and coming in and taking action and having communication. This may be something that she really fights, this person re-entering her life. She really fights it. She doesn't want it. She doesn't want to trust them again, because she's actually shifted into holding on to the hurt. And it's understandable why she would act like that. But in this storyline, we see this. There has always been a hope that she could let go of the hurt and trust again, but she kept insisting, even to the point where the hurt is gone. She actually, this person is healing it, but she still is insisting, no, I'm tired of refusing you, but I'm also tired of even entertaining this. No. And then there's this huge change of heart. So this has been the most difficult. Now, here's the thing. Remember, that king was of Tower. We're going to have a new beginning here. Everything's getting burned down. We're starting from scratch. That king had to go through their tower. They had to go through all this change. They had to finally take control of their life. They had to admit, what is it that I want? I want the person I'm really in love with. I married someone who was a wonderful person. We cared about each other, but it wasn't the kind of love that either one of us actually wanted to have, but we stayed a long time in it. Now I'm going after the person that I want, only to discover that because of the way I treated that person that I wanted, they now are in the place of indecisiveness, lack of trust of what they truly want, lack of belief that things could go right, lack of, like, they may have damaged this Queen of Cups belief in love ever being reciprocated, which is why they filled their own cup. They got themselves good, but they kept insisting that I don't believe you. I thought that this was everything, but there's no way you could love me and do what you did. I'm not going to forgive you, so there's no point. There's no point. But God, I wish that you could fix this, but there's no point. You're never going to fix it because I'll never believe you. And then one day she actually gets healed and she still resists it. And then she flips a switch and says, what am I doing? I'm being as indecisive as they were. I'm not an indecisive person. I'm loving, and what I want, if this person really has a staying power and they've proven that, and I'm actually healed from it, then what am I doing refusing myself what I want? If this person is really here as a changed individual, what if we started from absolute scratch? What if we started like we went out on a first date? This is total freeing ourselves, communicating, not about the past anymore, not about the I'm not going to do this with you, we're never doing this again. We have the Knight of Wands that just landed on the floor. What if we rekindled the romance? What if we went ahead and we tried flirting? What if we started like we were dating all over again? And that is where I'm ending this story, because otherwise this epic saga is going to go on and on and on and on. And I feel like we've seen it through to that point. I don't know if they're going to make it as a couple now. I don't know what their next plans are, but I will say this: everybody ends up it somehow at least more authentic in how they evaluate what they want and how not to block themselves and how not to live in states of, well, I want this, but I can't have it. Because that's been the underlying issue with every single character. What I want, I'm not going to let myself have. And that produces so much hurt and so much wasted time. But is it really wasted if it's lessons being learned? And that's just the time frame that had to be learned in. So we'll leave this here. As I say again and again, these are stories about fictional characters, and don't take these as your personal life story. This doesn't have any bearing on how your life is going to go. Only you decide how your life will go, and your characters and your people and the motives and all those things are going to be so different. But this story was very much a huge, in-depth look at a complicated situation that could have been extremely toxic and painful at different points in time. But we also see that every single character is growing, and every single thing in this storyline is about, the road to being more authentic is one of the, on one hand, it should be the simplest road, but it's oftentimes the most complicated. I'm glad that this wasn't a storyline that was like, oh, I'm a liar, cheater, stealer. None of these people were villains. They were just people struggling. That's what I saw here. So I'm going to leave this here, and I'll maybe put like a trigger warning on this, just because, well, mostly it's like grab your popcorn and make sure you got an hour to kill. All right, you guys, take care. Bye.